What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, back at the Gramercy Theater, and today we are here with the almighty Allegaeon. Thank you so much, man.
Of course, man. Of course, dude.
It's great to have you here. The last time you came here was with Neil Bliviscaris, and you guys absolutely killed it there.
Oh,
and
thanks.
We're all very excited to have you back. So the latest record is Proponent for Sentience.
Mm-hmm.
I said it right this time.
You did?
Yep.
It's important.
But it came out like in 2016. Right, like the tail end.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So now that the record has been out for a while, do you kind of have like a conclusion on how the record cycle has been and everything?
An overwhelming success from where Allegaeon was career-wise before the record and after is night and day. The amount of opportunities that the record has given us, and I can't tell if it's just because we stepped out of the box a little bit and did some clean vocals. I don't really know with the subdivisions, like the Rush stuff. And then, I don't really know what the contributing factor is with the lineup change, but maybe that's what did it. But it's been completely night and day as it has been before that. So. Yeah.
And seeing you guys at that Neil Bliviscaris show, everybody was going crazy for you guys. So
oh, cool.
Yeah, so I think you guys did pretty well. But you kind of just brought up what I was going to ask the next question. This is Riley's first record with the band. So, and I know that incorporated for the first time with some clean vocals in it. Having clean vocals in Allegaeon, did that maybe open up to new ideas on how to incorporate instrumentally?
Yes. Yes and no. I mean, now we can, as songwriters, we can focus a lot on space, because before that, when you're just screaming, it's kind of one-dimensional. I mean, you can have dynamics with it and like how you're gonna have like highs and lows and mids or whatever, but you're kind of really like locked into that box. And now you have, with Riley, you have pitch screaming and then throat singing and clean singing, and we have a whole bunch more tools at our disposal. So within that framework, it allows us to be more experimental with our music. So I mean, on the next record, we have some stuff that's, it sounds like Allegaeon, obviously, but there's a little bit more space, and we could play with that a little bit more. And for me, I don't know, one of the biggest things in music for me is I'm sure everybody can relate to this during like the summer, and you're like driving in your car, and it feels awesome, and you got the the windows rolled down, you're just cranking your tunes, and you have that sense of motion. Like that's the most cool feeling in life to me. So I try to write with that in mind a lot. So, but that also leads to, I can have kind of like open chords that simulate motion, and then with just open chords, it kind of gives Riley way more options.
Of course. And it's cool because I've always considered your music to be very experimental. So with incorporating newer elements in your music, it's got to be a little bit easier than some other types of bands who kind of stick with a formula, right?
It is, especially if you're not really good at if writing in the style of your band is not really your strength. For me, so when I joined the band in 2007, we had a completely different lineup, and they had the vision, which has kind of stayed true. They set the groundwork, Ryan Glisson, our original guitar player, and Aaron Donahoe, our original bass player. They kind of really set the tone for what Allegaeon was going to be. And that, me coming from a Dream Theater and classical guitar background, being a thrash kid, and they had set it more in a necrophagist and arch enemy type direction. It was I had to adapt my writing style to fit into this band, and I think that's why the first two records are vastly different from the second two. So when Ryan left, it was we had to try to maintain some of his songwriting, what he brought into the band, because it was important to keep kind of what made Allegaeon at that point. So but that was never my strong suit. So the difference between the first record and the second record, when we were under the gun and we had to put out a record, there wasn't so much time as for him to nitpick my stuff, so I had a little bit more creative freedom. So then you get tunes I don't know, Secrets of the Sequence, that is a little bit more prog, because that's my background's more prog rock and thrash. So putting those elements in, they're getting more and more as we go along, as we evolve, because that's more of our strengths, I guess. But we always keep in mind where we came from, because we have to keep that element. Did I answer your question? I just
yes,
kind of babbled.
You did.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love it when they babble.
Oh, good.
So.
I'm like, I need breadcrumbs to figure out where I am right now.
Ooh, those are good lyrics.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you heard it here. That I helped contribute.
Yeah, it's all him.
Better mention Heavy New York in the album. But and I also know that Riley also joined another band, which is Pathology, and so I'd imagine that experimenting with another band and stuff could also help you bring in newer elements.
Well, the thing about Riley is, so when we let Ezra go, Riley was my number one choice for it because of what he did in Son of Aurelius, and it was because his vocal range is so huge, and so he is really my favorite vocalist in metal because I don't think there's nothing he can't do, it seems to be. Like opera, I mean, he was just singing Irish tunes in the back of our trailer in the middle of New York on St. Patrick's Day, and people were like, what the fuck is going in there? No, it was really great. So I think it's awesome that he's in Pathology because I know he'll kill it. And it's the same thing when he joined Allegaeon. Everybody doubts him. And I was like, you guys have no fucking clue what he is capable of. And he surprises everyone over and over and over again. And I'm extremely proud of him. Everything he does is I don't know, I feel proud because I just believe in him so much that like anything that he does in any project, I know he'll kill it.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely excited for him. And like seeing him fill in for Travis Ryan when we were on 70,000 Tons. Travis couldn't make the shows, and he was having to sing with cattle decapitation, and he killed it. And I was just like, there's nothing the man can't do vocally. And it's...
he has that idea to like sing you to sleep and scare you to death at the same time, like a Mike Patton almost.
Right,
kinda.
And like if you want like man, I'm just I didn't get any sleep, so I'm like having a hard time with words. But like he calls them potty vocals, like the real gurgly type shit. Like he's got you. Like we actually did a song over the summer for a horror movie coming out, and it was basically a Legion, but pretend like writing for another band, the band in the movie.
That's interesting.
And they were a strict death metal band, so like it was it was very Morbid Angel and Deicide. That was kind of the influences we used in it, and he is like putting like potty vocals in it, like straight up like brutal like cattle decapitation style vocals. So shit that would never fly in a Legion. Not that it wouldn't fly, it just doesn't. It's not really appropriate for what we do. But just this, like he can flap his wings and spread them.
Excellent. So. Now, as I mentioned before, that you last time you were here was with Neil Blaviscaris, and now you're here with Rings of Saturn.
Yeah.
Definitely more of a heavier spectrum.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you were on 70,000 Tons of Metal, and you've been with a variety of different bands. So, being that you've played with a variety, have you noticed a different audience when you're on stage?
Absolutely, but like who we travel with, who we tour with, kind of determines what kind of set we'll play. Because we'll chameleon our set to what we think the fans will gravitate towards if they're not our fans. Our fans, if they're our fans, they know what kind of shenanigans we pull musically, so they're not going to care generally. But so like on Rings of Saturn, on this tour, there's not really any band that sings. So we kept all the clean vocals out of this tour.
So you're not playing my favorite song.
No. So like with Neo, they did clean vocals, so it was like, okay, we can do clean vocals. But we were playing subdivisions in every set. We did it with the Cavaliers, and it was like people loved it, but it was like crickets when we did it. And people were like, dude, that was so badass, but at the same time, like the crowd energy just died. So we have to pick it very carefully what we do.
Yeah. Well, that's cool though, because your fans who are there to see you guys could definitely see something different each time.
And we really try to vary the set list every time, because I don't want to, like, Megadeth's my favorite band, but they've been playing the same set for the last like 20 years. So what's the point of going to see them? You're going to see the exact same show. So I never want to do that. We'll always change the set list up.
It's good because you always leaving, with your music being so experimental, it seems like you are the type of band where nobody's going to know what to expect.
Yeah. And hopefully that keeps up, and hopefully people enjoy the ride, so to speak.
Absolutely. Now, being that you're the guitarist of the band, I would love to know what your weapons of choice are in terms of gear.
Gear? Well, I just, last December, I switched guitar companies. I was with Jackson for many years, and they were really great. But Jackson being like a huge company, they have a really hard time focusing on the little guy. Which I think since I've left, they've done a way better job. I'm like really proud of them for what they've done with like I see them promoting Ex Mortis a lot and some of the like Dave Davidson from Revo. Extremely proud of them. I mean, the fact he has a signature guitar blows me away.
Davidson has been like the poster boy.
Right. Yeah, and it's just the fact that they would give him a signature guitar, I think, is awesome. Like, I mean, not that he doesn't deserve it. That's not why it's awesome, because he does. It's just I just wouldn't. It seems so out of left field that they would give a non-legacy act. You know, it's like it doesn't surprise me that they take care of like Megadeth and Def Leppard and stuff like that. You know, that makes sense. But it seems like just because they're such a big company, they have a hard time focusing on the future. Okay. And that was hard for me because we're younger and we struggle, and it felt like, yes, I felt like it was a mutual beneficial arrangement. Like they would give me guitars and I would, help sell them. But that seemed where it would be a stop, and some of these younger companies were promoting their artists. Okay. And I really need that. I need that push. So I switched. I'm with Allegaeon out of the UK.
Oh, really?
Which is...
that's a first.
They are... I may be the only guy in the U.S. on Allegaeon right now. I'm not sure, but...
that's going to make you stand out.
Yeah, it definitely is. And they're all... handcrafted, so it's like one guy, Chris Dahlia. It's one guy, so like everything is done to specs. So there's no CNC machine. There's nothing. He does everything by hand. So every guitar is individual. So you're never gonna get. It's not like I'm gonna have a signature series. You know what I mean? And that's the type of thing. It's like if you get a signature series, you got to go with a big company because they can supply that.
But I feel like a signature series, not to discredit like it, but while the guitar player is comfortable doing it, it almost seems like, well, what if I want to experiment and do something different?
It's true, but it's also, a signature series help guitar players like pay the bills, because they get a cut of that.
Of course.
And until you're going to get that, then there's no reason to really go with a big company. And I kind of discovered that because I was with Jackson, for a couple of years, but I was a Jackson kid from like day one. I love Jackson. So being with Jackson was a dream come true. But then as I've grown as a player and just like as a businessman, it just didn't make sense anymore. And not me talking crap on Jackson at all. They're great. I just needed to do something better for myself. So, but Allegaeon has been amazing, and I'm super happy. The guitars are unbelievably good. I mean,
works well up there.
Yes, yeah, the best guitars I've ever played. So. Extremely happy with that. Yeah.
Excellent. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're very welcome, man.
Yeah. Now that Proponian 4 Sentience is, I got it again, right?
You're good.
Is officially 2 years old now. Can we be expecting anything new from the Allegaeon Army coming up soon?
Yeah. Well, we're playing a new song on this tour, and then so we leave this tour in the U.S. on the 24th, and we go to Europe for the first time. So it's our first time being in overseas.
You're gonna kill it there. I know it for a fact.
We play kind of a European style, so we're hoping, and it's with Neo again. So I know we'll have fun because we'll bust their balls day one. I guarantee it. But so yeah, right after we do that, I mean, tonight is like show 14, and we have 54 shows on these 2 runs, so it's a lot of touring we're doing. And then as soon as we get home, we have like a couple weeks off to finish writing up some solos and some lyrics, and we go into the studio for the next record. So the next record should be around October, November is the plan. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, thanks again
Dude,
so much for your time.
Man.
Yeah, it's great to be able to just sit down and talk with you guys. Looking forward to the show tonight.
Awesome.
Everybody, Greg of Allegaeon, be sure to pick up their latest record, Proponent for Sentience. Almost fucked it up. And, catch them on their tour with Rings of Saturn. If you're in Europe, catch them on their tour with Neil Blaviscaris. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, buddy.